Putin is scared because Pentagon gave a green light to use life-changing weapons in Ukraine. Another reason for Putin's concern is because something happened in Moscow, and at the same time Ukrainians were able to capture Russian prisoners in Bakhmut and made some advancements in the south of Ukraine. But more about all of this in just a couple of minutes. What's up, investors? It's the Russian dude. And let's get right to the point and talk about some ridiculous Russian propaganda. So, long story short, Russian media propagandists, they started claiming that the people of the United Kingdom, they gave so much money to Ukraine already, they don't even have money anymore to feed their own people. That is why regular British civilians, they have to start catching rodents such as squirrels and to start eating them. And some of you watching from the United Kingdom, can you please let us all know if it's complicated to catch a squirrel, and I guess how does it taste? I do want to know all the details because, I mean, who knows, we all might need it very soon, according to Russian propagandists. And the rest of you guys, inexperienced squirrel catchers, can you please like this video and subscribe to my channel, because I will go through the comments of experienced squirrel catchers from the United Kingdom. I'll find the best ways to catch and eat rodents, and I will share with all of you in my next episode. You can also follow my second channel, The Russian Dude Clips, where I post under 1-minute summaries every single day. The link is down below. But okay, and now let's quickly talk about the Western military support to Ukraine and this game-changing weapon that Pentagon recently green-lighted for Ukraine, and then we'll switch our attention to Moscow, where something, or I mean nothing, happened before moving to the east and to the south of Ukraine. But first of all, if you remember from my previous episode, an unnamed country bought 50 Leopard 1 tanks to be pledged to Ukraine, and so recently it became known that this country is Germany, who purchased these tanks, which used to be the combat machines of Belgian army. And speaking about Germany, this country is preparing yet another military support package to Ukraine, which will include all-terrain vehicles, bandwagon, reconnaissance drones, and most importantly, 2 air defense systems called Patriot. Moving forward to some other military vehicles and equipment from the West, Ukraine just does not simply abandon it on the battlefields, like its opponent usually does. Instead, it prefers to repair it. For example, as you can see from this video, Ukrainian soldiers are trying to repair the artillery system AS-90, which was given to them by the British Army. And then right here, for example, already Polish soldiers are helping their Ukrainian comrades to repair their self-propelled howitzer called Krab, with B in the end. Then we have some other statements from the West which mention that this cluster munition previously sent by the US have a significant impact to Ukrainians, assisting them on the front lines, because mainly the area of effect is much bigger than just regular munition. But most importantly, according to the representative of Pentagon, Sabrina Singh, she mentioned that the Biden administration has finally gave a green light for its Western allies to start training Ukrainian pilots how to use F-16 fighter jets. Which means that these combat machines, game changers, are finally eventually coming to Ukraine. And I mean, just imagine if in the past HIMARS had a very big impact, then Patriot provided incredible air defense system for Ukrainians, then this cluster munitions more recently allowed Ukrainians to do a more successful counteroffensive. Just think about it, how it will be absolutely brand new war whenever Ukrainians will receive these extremely advanced flying machines. And this moment will happen hopefully sooner than later, so let's keep our eyes open. And by the way, I decided to give a very long time requested thing to my Patreon members, which is the early access to my daily episodes. And so, if you want to see these episodes hours before they're uploaded to YouTube, in addition to hundreds of uncensored photos and videos which I upload there every single week, feel free to become my Patreon as well. This provides a massive support to this channel, and the link is down below. Thank you guys so much. Alright, and now let's talk about this something, or I mean, how would Russian propagandists call it, nothing, which recently happened in Moscow, and then we'll quickly go to the east and to the south of Ukraine. And first of all, this last night, 2 drones were intercepted above Moscow. And I guess this human air surveillance system, which we talked about in my previous episode, did not fulfill its obligations. Therefore, it must go straight to jail. But yet even bigger loud noise happened to the northeast of Moscow, in Sergiev Posad. And long story short, according to a Russian version, a production-related incident happened which led to this very fast release of fire and smoke, which has been seen from many kilometers away, as you can see from this picture. But wait, there is more, because in Stavropolsky region there was also this sudden release of black smoke, which happened on the territory of a military barracks, and once again somebody was smoking in inappropriate place. Right, and now as promised, let's talk about the situation in the east, specifically about Ukrainians taking Russian prisoners of war in Bakhmut, and then we'll finalize everything in the south. And so first of all, according to the report by the Institute for the Study of War, Russians continue to attempt to advance along Kupiansk-Svatove-Kreminna front line, and they even made unreported so far gains, which yet have not been confirmed by this map. But we do have a video from the proximity of Bakhmut from the Ukrainian side, when they did a pretty successful and real advancement to Russian positions. They're able to eliminate those people hiding in trenches and in underground, and also capture some prisoners of war, as you can see from this video. And yeah, you guessed it, the full version is on my Patreon. At the same time, a Ukrainian artillery reportedly destroyed an assault group of Russians along with their military base located in Klishchiivka. And then, as you go even more to the south, in Nikolaevka Druha, a T-90M, extremely modern battle tank of Russians, they claim that this is the most superior tank they ever had. It was destroyed, you guessed it, with only several $100 drone. Yes, completely destroyed. And just overall, in the last 24 hours, Ukrainians were able to destroy 8 ammunition warehouses and 8 artillery units of Russians. And as a result of all these hostilities, Ukrainians, as you can see from this map, were able to liberate a little bit of land to the west of Krasnohorivka. And now, to wrap things up, let's finish with the quick but still very important update from the south. But first of all, we just have to make a stop in Zaporozhye, where recently yet another attack of Russians has been done against a civilian area. Going all the way down to Crimean Peninsula, specifically to Sevastopol, some loud noises have been also reported by the locals, as you can see from this picture. But Russians said that this was just a military training. And at the same time, not a military training happened in Nova Kakhovka. As you can see from this video, Ukrainians were able to destroy a command post of Russians in this temporarily occupied city. And at the same time, a Russian self-propelled howitzer Msta-S, along with KAMAZ bringing a lot of munition and supplies, have been also destroyed by Ukrainians, as you can see from this video. And as a result of these combat activities in the south, Ukrainians were able to advance a little bit to the east of Rabotine. And just overall, according to the General Staff of Ukrainian Forces, they once again resume the active offensive activities in Orikhiv and Velika Novosilka front lines, with the main directions of their attacks going towards Melitopol and Berdyansk. Then we have the statement by Alexandra Andriyasheva, which is mentioning that this Ukrainian tactic is still a little bit unexpected for Russians, because Russians were expecting a breach in one single place along the Zaporozhye most likely front lines, which as you can see has not happened at least yet, and instead Ukrainians are using this long confrontation to destroy as many Russian forces as possible along with their military equipment. And so far, according to her, it is working. And ultimately, according to yet another representative of Ukrainian military, Serhiy Kuzmin, Ukrainians are already mostly breached the first line of defense in the south, and Russians are now bringing the reinforcements from the second line to try and hold the first line, which includes a lot of elite soldiers, marines and paratroopers. But still, unfortunately, the advancement of Ukrainians is a little bit complicated, because this area in between the first and second lines of defenses is extremely heavily mined. But nevertheless, the majority of Ukrainians, they do believe in inevitable victory, and me, I will be right here every single time to report on any major or minor news that is happening. So if you don't want to miss them, can you please consider subscribing to my channel? It only takes one click. If you want to receive an early access to my daily episodes, you can also consider becoming my Patreon member. You can also unlock exclusive channel perks by becoming my channel member, or simply use a PayPal link. Everything can be found on the right and down below. Thank you so much for attention, товарищи. Please follow me on Instagram, beware there are scammers in the comments, and see you tomorrow.